The Rise of Africa, the continent, the diaspora, and BRICS explores the relationships that are affecting the global economy right now. This book explores the relationships of the African diaspora's influence on the African continent and why this is important in stabilizing relationships with an understanding of how BRICS impacts the future, good or bad. You can order your copy of The Rise of Africa today on Amazon.com.
Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. Neo-diplomacy is the new currency. The reason that I can say that is you have a couple of different factors occurring right now as we speak on the world stage. The dollar is being disrupted. Nations are no longer wanting to engage with the United States. But the third factor that affects each and every one of us is that there is a diaspora from the African continent that's willing and able to engage our brothers and sisters on the continent.
Well, shalom, salama, Thiemi, shalom. Greetings to all my Israelite brothers and sisters from around the world, whether you're of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the house of Israel, or you're a Gentile grafted into the house under the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach. I welcome you all this morning here, Israelites and Gentiles. You know, a lot of things have happened over this weekend. I don't know where else to begin. Ghana is taking the stage and they are asking for restorative justice. Supposedly that happened, and of course, I'm going to tell you this. If it did indeed happen, then no one would know anything about it. Shalom, Sister Shonda. Welcome. I've been catching you bits and pieces. I've been so busy. Unbelievable. You know, the funny thing is that thumbnail that I had from Gemini, that nailed it. I think it did. And in my opinion of a really non-artistic thumb. All the king's horses and all the king's men could not put America back together again. And I had to think about that little bit of a nursery rhyme. Because there's a lot of things that's happening that we truly don't understand what is going on. And it's a bracing. It's a bracing because there's going to be some things occurring probably by the end of this year. I'm not saying it. All I'm doing is I'm interpreting what is happening and giving you my little bit of a military analysis, especially at a high level view. Because what we're seeing is we're seeing a more fancier, schmancier version, a more bloodless version of a bend the knee or get fired, or if you don't bend the knee and your bending of the knee becomes more vocal, then you will obviously pass away from some sort of a heart failure, heart ailment, heart condition, everything that deals with that falls in line with some sort of cardiovascular event. Because look it up. Look it up. Generals do not last long if they've fallen out of good graces or they're way too critical. And I would surmise that in this administration, I would believe that probably in the next maybe 3 to 4 months, some generals that step down, that retire, that are gone effective immediately. A retirement can be done within 30 days. Excuse me. A military retirement, especially at a flag officer level, can be done within 30 days. People would say, no, that's impossible. A flag officer retirement can be done within 30 days. All it takes is a sign off from the president. And he'll have that sucker on auto pen for those generals that do not acquiesce, for those generals that do not full-heartedly pledge if anybody believes this, then they're very special, as we would say. If anybody believes this, we'd say that they're very gifted. Gifted with what? That still remains to be seen. But that's what that terminology is. It's a gift. Nah, I don't think it's a gift. I think that would actually be a detriment. Call it what it is. I hate all this stuff. Oh, it's this. It's the exact opposite. This is why these people out here think that they know everything, but they literally have learning disabilities. Oh, don't call it disability. Call it being gifted. Call it what it really is, because if you call it something different and you treat it something different, then all that's doing is just hurting the person that has those deficits. And a lot of our people here in this nation have a lot of deficits, mental deficits, learning deficits, health deficits, you name it. I digress. Trump says he will tell U.S. military leaders we love them. I'm pretty sure he'll say that. I'm pretty sure he'll say that. But what else would he say? We love them, but if you don't love me and you don't pledge your fealty and loyalty to me, then you're not going to get that much love. And matter of fact, it's going to be a tough love, right? I'm just utilizing the words that Trump will say, because if I can't trust you as one of my generals, then I can't really love you. And if I can't really love you, then you're going to have to go because we can't love one another and blah, 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 blah. That's dictatorship talk, folks. That's a dictatorship. You all didn't even know what came into office. Half the people don't even know what ended up happening. It's not just you're fired. Now you're going to be fired and you're going to be under the grave. And all military honors, of course. You know, they'll drape the flag and they'll fold the flag and they'll present it to, their loved ones. They'll have a 21 gun salute. They'll have the color guard there. Make it really prestigious. Put them in a nice little national cemetery. Because I want you to see President Donald Trump said on Sunday that he would tell a gathering of U.S. generals and admirals in Quantico, Virginia, that they were cherished leaders who needed to be strong and tough. Why? Because he's about to give some, if I can clear my throat, because he's about to give some orders that may or may not be ethical, moral, nor legal. But they got to be tough. You want to know why they got to be tough? Because they're going to have to be tough to follow his command and his decision. These are always the dictatorial pep talks that always happens. I got to find out if you're with me or if you're against me, who's been talking, time to snitch, who's my leaders. Because why? Because what we're about to do, we're about to crack down. Why are we going to crack down? Because we're about to go into an issue of a government shutdown in less than 48 hours, October 1st. And nobody's buying our debt, and we're about to default. And if we're going to default, guess what? This dollar is about to be really worthless. Prices are about to spike. And when prices are about to spike and people don't have livelihoods, and guess what? Civil unrest. Are you with me in this period that's coming? Because, it's getting ready to happen because of these tariffs, and we got to get these tariffs because if not, they've been ripping us off. And because they've been ripping us off, we've gotten used to it. It's all part of taking our power back. Hint, hint, dog whistles. Take our power back. Or that was the chant that was phrased, and they said it, not me. They said it. They heard the dog whistle and they responded to the dog whistle. And they had a chant less than what, 3 weeks ago now. They said, white man fight back. So I'm pretty sure that if you are a minority, a brother that's there as a general, and I know some black folks that are generals. I know one in particular. I used to work under him. He was trying to get grimy with them, but I wasn't backing down. And then he was like, "All right, you're all right, Captain Copeland. You're all right." Because they test. They got to test you. They got to find out what your metal's worth. Look, I love to be tested. I wasn't I didn't back down. I wasn't a back down person. I stood my ground. For what? What are you gonna do? Fire me? Well, if you fire me, I'm just gonna go home because here's the thing. I was gonna quit anyway. Early retired. Look, that's how I was. But I know this brother. He's more than likely he's still in. What they're gonna end up doing is, I guarantee you, they're gonna purge. Does this all now make sense? Why Pete Hegseth said that nothing from the Pentagon would be reported or would actually even be authorized. Why? Because how bad would that look when they done fired all the minorities? You think I'm playing? They'll probably keep some Asians and some Hispanics that are, very much complexion complexioned in that favorable complexion. Rubio-esque. It's working out and happening right now. Look, people think that it's oh, I don't believe it's gonna happen. Look, it happens. You wanna know why? Because it's not being reported. If you don't report anything, if you don't say anything, guess what? It doesn't exist. What are you gonna hear? Alternative news channels, and then you have to question, well, why am I listening? And for a large majority of Americans, because here's the thing, we understand, but we're not the audience. We've never been the audience in this. He's playing to his base. He's playing to his power base. These are just the inconvenient bumps in the road that you find all over Africa. Because everywhere on their roads are just bumps in the roads, which makes their road structures terribly inconvenient. And if your roads are terribly inconvenient, guess what ends up happening? Well, you don't have very much economic traction. Guess who figured that one out? Burkina Faso did, because their roads are amazing. I told you, their roads are immaculate. Now, there are some side roads that still needing help. They're getting there. But these are just bumps in the roads because here's the thing: we could see it. Okay, we could see it. We're not the intended audience, so it doesn't matter if we see it. Doesn't matter. We can see everything. And guess what? Oh, they're just black folks complaining, and they're complaining again. And you know what? They always complain. Even when it's going to be good for them, they always complain. That's their logic. That's their reasoning. That's their rationale. You don't have to agree with it. It doesn't even have to make sense to you. I'm just telling you how it works. And then we look at it and like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense because it's not supposed to make sense to us. That's why when you saw last week at that UNGA, the UN General Assembly, every single country was roasting the West, particularly the United States, due to its racism. Because now everybody sees it. Go ahead, take a look. Everybody sees it. I told you, everybody sees it, and now everybody put that on the world stage that they see it. You can go and look at Hindustan Times, Times of India, you name it, First Post, you name it. Now they want to come out and blast and criticize because you want to know why? Because now they're feeling that H-1B struggle. It wasn't fun when they weren't the affected audience. And now I see them walking around here with long faces. They were supposed to be the model Asian minority, and now they can't even travel back and forth to see friends and family in India or South Asia or wherever because they realize that their visa status, their status is in jeopardy. I didn't say it, I didn't make it up. That was on the news. They made that up. And then people get mad because we're reporting it. People get mad because we're commenting on it. You're not supposed to comment. Oh, we're not. Why is that? It's so to make us look in a bad light. Then y'all did it. Have you noticed that? Personal responsibility. I told you they don't take personal responsibility. They don't. You did the edict, you did the order, and then we're talking about the edict and the order because we know what that's getting ready to do to a lot of Americans. And really, we know it's getting ready to do to a lot of y'all folks. And really, I would say that these string of mass shootings are only going to get worse because you want to know why? Because this is the last quarter coming up, and people are going to be losing their jobs. And right before Christmas, they're going to be losing their minds. You realize Christmas is in 3 months. That's their holiest feast day. That's their holiest of the holy feast days. Saturnalia. I'm going to call it what it actually is. It's Saturnalia. Sorry, if they wanted to really celebrate Yahusha's birthday, that would have been last week. Feast of Trumpets. Well, in this season, Feast of Trumpets. A rare gathering of the country's military leadership in one location. I want to tell the generals that we love them, their cherished leaders, to be strong, be tough, and be smart and be compassionate. Okay. You know, for being an English teacher, that level of speech right there, that's sixth grade, fifth to sixth grade level. It just shows that you really can't string a sentence together. And B and B and B, that just shows that you really can't formulate how you want to structure words. And now you understand there's a lack of structure because when you can't even structure words correctly, guess what? Because folks are going to take the liberty to continue to have and B and B and B. Be tough and be smart and be compassionate and be this and be that. That's ambiguous. That's confusing. You don't have to be an English professor, but what you do need to do is at least utilize, I don't know, high school level education at the very least. Yeah, that's just babbling. That's just babbling. And that's rambling. And when you're rambling and you're babbling, what that means is you haven't put any type of clarity in your thought. So now everybody's trying to figure things on out. Everybody's trying to run around. You don't have all your leadership, military leadership in one location. To be what? Unless they want to do a false flag. And in my opinion, that would be the false flag. Then by October 1st, you have emergency funding to push through whatever nonsense you're going to push through. And 60 days, you're sending out troops. Less than that, because in 30 days, you want to make the declaration. You already have things staged. Look what they did to the leadership. Look, I loved my leadership. And it was Russia. It was China. It was North Korea. It was Iran. It was somebody. Do you see all of the key things? It was Venezuela. You'll probably say Venezuela. Even though they have no type of intelligence, espionage services, or anything else to pull off something of that scale. It'll be a simple low-hanging fruit for everybody to direct their anger at. It's Venezuela. It's them. They did it. Now let's take the oil. Let's take their beautiful, sweet, light crude oil that we can then pump up the economy and we'll have people have jobs of taking all the oil in Venezuela, and we're not going to stop there. Time to go back. I believe that was called the either Monroe or Wilson Doctrine. Going right back into South America, Caribbean countries. To me, that's what it would look like. To me, I'm putting on my analyst brain and providing my most likely course of action assessment. Can't really project global power like that, but they can still project regional power, and that would be a simpler idea. Hey, fall back. The threat is now on the soil. Fall back, and then guess, and it's a twofer. You get a chance to accomplish many objectives: civil disobedience, martial law. They wouldn't call it martial law. They'll just call it, they have to be patriots. Make sure you're a patriot. If you see something, report something. Everybody is a deputized, right? Deputy against who? Against everybody that does not look like the quote unquote average American. A lot of people don't think that that's going to be coming. But now it's coming. You already see why. They're talking about Portland. Yeah. Does Trump make excellent talking points about Portland? Absolutely. I've been to Portland. That's a low hanging fruit city. That's an easy one to clamp down. And because that's an easy, low hanging fruit, what that is it's not necessarily about Portland. It's not. It's just that Oregon was, like Utah, a state that was traditionally made as a home for white supremacy. They make no bones about it. That was literally in their state constitution. I can't make this up. Ask Sister Fatea. Can't make this up. My brother lived in Oregon. I visited him out there in Oregon. Can't make this up. Where it was a state law to beat black people on Sunday for being in the state. What does that do? Well, it splits the difference between California and Washington. It's a stronghold on I-5. And if you were to have your country cede land to, I don't know, China, then that would be a major disruptive point that can happen through parts of Idaho, Montana, things of that nature, going through the Cascades and everything else to get over into Portland. That's what I look at. I look at that as a purely tactical maneuver because I believe that they're actually now really afraid that successionism will happen, especially right after the UN had stated what it stated. Because it wasn't just South Africa, even though Ramaphosa had his mic cut. It wasn't just South Africa. It was nation after nation after nation that was not just condemning that Eastern Mediterranean nation, but they're also condemning the United States. I told you, now their sights are on the United States. And because nobody is utilizing the dollar and they're trying to now run from the dollar, guess what? They're about to use the nuclear option. Don't think it's going to be Russia. To me, it's going to be the U.S. first. Who are they going to hit? They're not going to probably hit Russia. They'll probably hit Iran. In my opinion, they'll probably hit Iran. That's the easy one. They wouldn't hit Venezuela. Venezuela's too close to home, and that would piss off a lot of the Latin American countries. Excuse my word choice. People are running away from the US dollar. These auctions for the bonds, and nobody's buying these auctions. How do you think the dollar circulates? It's like this. It's like making sure that you have enough medicine, potassium to keep the heart going. That's how the heart works off of. It helps, the potassium helps with the blood flow. But now you're running out of potassium. You're running out of the blood flow. Last year, I had to see that with my dad as they were trying to basically keep his heart from not shutting down. Very, very weak heart rhythm. And then as his heart had shut down, guess what was happening? He was on life support. When you're on life support, that's the hardest your body has to then struggle to fight to heal itself. This thing is trying to heal itself, but it doesn't have enough in terms of people believing in the system anymore, not just here in the United States, that's worldwide. That's now worldwide. What you see happening in France, what you see happening in parts of Europe, that's systemic of what's going on in the United States. It just let me make sure I'm gonna shut this down. Had to shut this down. The internet signal is weak, weakened, weaker. Because why? Because these channels are about to start getting censored big time. We all are. Why? Because honestly, we're close to the end. If you couldn't tell, we're close to the end because now the nations aren't buying they're not buying the act anymore. They're not buying the I'm the good guy act. I'm the good guy doll. Do you want to be my friend? But then that doll has a spirit of murder, a spirit of retribution, a bloodlust for power, for wickedness. And now all these nations are trying to run away from the child's play. See what I did there? Y'all see what I did there? Have you noticed on Chucky? I cannot make this up on Child's Play. Do you know that he got his power by invoking an African ritual? Can't make it up. Watch the first Chucky. Watch the first Chucky. That's how that man got power. And he put in that doll. He put in that avatar. Yeah, he sure did say it. That's what he sure did say it. I don't know what that is, so I'm not gonna say it. He had to have power by doing what? By sacrifice. And sacrifices. Is that what we just saw about 2.5 weeks ago? I'll let you all comment. Because they're trying to get the people on one accord. Yeah, he used witchcraft, but the witchcraft was derived from African power, African sources. That African power, that African source is no longer available. Why is that? Because we're no longer effective. Remember, we have to buy in. I told you that. I said that 6-7 months ago. I said, look, we didn't buy in. And now they're going to be frantic. Now they're going to start to worry because we didn't buy in. We didn't buy into the election. We didn't buy into the government. We didn't buy into anything that they tried to sensationalize. You knew it was over. I'm going to tell you this. April, May, and June, you knew it was over. Remember when none of us showed up for the protests, and then they only had the one or two of our highly brainwashed people trying to go on out there and act like they're making a difference and come on out. Now, they're not saying that now, are they? They're not saying that now as they're seeing these folks pull up and run into churches. I don't know if y'all realize what happened on Saturday night. The former Marine, who I guess he had some mental illness, being shot in the head a couple times and all this other stuff, wrote a book, heavily laden conspiracy theory book. This dude did a gunboat drive-by, boat by, jet ski by. My man pulled up on the Yamaha Sea-Doo, the 26-footer, like, There, was it a red boat? Did the window did the tinted window come down off the boat? He did a float by. That 3 foot weight came through, and then next thing you know, just shots fired. Where is that? Those shots are coming from off the water. I cannot believe this. Gertrude, go grab me my gun. You can't blame us because we don't be messing with water like that. No, 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 no. That would have been really gangster if he had showed up with the paddleboard. Oh, goodness. And then you had the thing going on in Michigan. Oh, they're all former Marines. Can you believe that? Unbelievable. But I thought that it was black people that are the problem. That's what the news says. That's what the news tells us. That's what the news programs us to believe. Oh, I know what it is. It's actually black folks dressed as white folks using latex masks. Yep, there it is. Yeah, Grand Blanc. Grand Blanc. That literally does mean great white. I looked at that and I had to have a double take like, what? Interesting. Interesting. You can't make this up. What does that mean for us? That means for us, family, we're still in the process of raising $2,000. This is the last go around for the container. The container has been released. The driver has been procured. This supports getting this container all the way into Burkina Faso. Or, as I would say, Dore Mi Burkina Faso La. They really didn't they didn't really appreciate that. Well, if you haven't been on this channel for a while, we promote a medical shipping container that has left Atlanta back in May. It made it on the water, got to, to Ghana in September. And now we are on the final leg of getting everything together. We had a little bit of some political rope-a-dopes, for lack of better terms. They wanted to cut the actual container lock because we locked that bad boy to make sure that there was fidelity. Look, we're not trying to have things load and get or unload and then get loaded up with stuff that we did not load. Hint, hint. I said no for security. I'm a security person, retired military. So I had to pray about that. I said, Father, thank you. We know it's not going to happen like that, and I'm not going to agree to it. So it didn't happen. But what's now occurring is that we are trying to reduce fees to get the container on the way, to get the container up to Ouagadougou. So our brothers and sisters on the continent can see we've gone through, we ask and ask and ask. Let's show them what we can provide. And when you show people what you can provide, guess what? That ask becomes a lot easier. So that's where we are at. Like to get this in as soon as possible. In a few minutes, I actually have to call one of the shipping company to get some information. Want to do that as soon as they open at 8 a.m. my time. So this coordination can go through. This has actually been relatively interesting because let me tell you, we have really taken the lead on getting things done. There's been quite a lot of things happening in Ghana and Burkina Faso. So I may be here on YouTube, but that's not all I do. But as a people, we've done great things. And you're supporting the great work because it's a great mission that provides awesome results. More than what you could even think or imagine. That's all I could say. More than what you could even think or imagine. So that's all I have for those that are still reeling from the recovery of the floods in the Southwest. Where our thoughts and prayers are with you all. Tomorrow night, I am calling for a fast from sundown Tuesday to sundown on Wednesday. We see all this stuff going on. You want to know what sets us apart? We take everything to our Father in prayer. I never lean on my own understanding. I don't. I say, thank you, Father. You're helping me to kind of see this. I said, but Father, I need to know, I need to understand in everything that I do. Do you want to know why this nation is failing? Because of literally the lack of humility. And that humility would cause repentance. And that repentance would cause the actions of people to turn around and repair and restore. You're not going to get any of that. This is why this place is in judgment. This is why this place is falling. What did we do wrong? Yep. When they say that, that's classic for move your tents. But here, what the Most High is having us do, He's having us witness really their folly. So keep that in mind. Because we all have to witness this. Because we're witnessing things for generations. And you can't make this stuff up. Before I do, I want to show this real quick. Hopefully it doesn't. Before I go, I want to show you this. Let me show you this, family, because is this a true definition of a crash out? My man's truck is all inside the church. The GMC, the Sierra, the SOT. Bricks all on top of the truck's hood. I mean, my man's truck was like literally on the pulpit. Done crashed the praise and worship. All things are possible. All things. All boom. What? How is that even possible? Oh. Exactly, brother Car. Jesus, take the wheel. The crash out is real. The crash out is real. He thought it was a driving service. I thought this is how you get set on fire with the Holy Ghost. Oh, not that way, brother. Oh, oh, all right. I gotta go. I gotta go. Oh, I could be here for a little bit. Oh my goodness. That's the crash out. He said Elijah got taken up in the chariot in fire. I'm gonna do the same thing too. With my flags. No, we're still gonna have the fast. It's just that's what day we're gonna start. We're gonna start Tuesday evening. So it's gonna be up to you if you want to fast or not. It's just a 1 day fast. Look, according to the New Testament, you know, Jesus credited the friends of the man that was bedridden when they cut the hole and lowered him to where Jesus was talking in the house. Well, I kind of did my own version. With faith without works is dead. Look at all the faith that I did to crash the truck into the church. Now that's what I call a believer, brother. Look at all that action. They'll call me the white boy Action Jackson. You can't make this up. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't make this up. All right, family, I got to get going. And with that, most high willing, since we won't have Rapture Watch for at least another year, I should most high willing be here tomorrow. So with that said, family, shalom, salama, siemi, shalom, peace and blessings. Yasharel, and make sure that you don't be driving your vehicle, especially if you are a GMC Sierra SLT truck owner with double flags sticking out the back of your truck. Look, I've always said something with folks having paraphernalia like that. I've always said something, but hey, who am I? Who am I? All I have to do is just survive this place, same as you all. And with that, shalom, family.